Welcome to Booked for Two, the podcast where a married couple dives into epic stories, wild worlds, and sometimes questionable romances.
Basically, I'm here for the epic fantasies, dragons, battles, and way too much lore. Think Lord of the Rings meets a Wikipedia rabbit hole.
And I'm here for the emotional chaos. Think smuttier fantasies, heartbreaks, and the moments that make you gasp or throw your book.
She's the heart and soul. I'm the deep dive into every detail you didn't know you needed. Together, we'll tackle characters, plots, and themes one chapter at a time.
So whether you're team lore or team feels, grab your book, get comfy, and let's turn the page together.
Heads up, listeners, this episode might actually melt your brain.
Seriously, the tinfoil hat theories are out of control.
You might want to grab a pen and paper, or honestly, a conspiracy board and some red string, because holy hell, Sarah J. Maas does not mess around when she hits the middle of a book.
She just dumps information on you like, hope you were paying attention because here comes the lore avalanche.
Right? You almost have to read it 4 or 5 times just to process even half of it.
Oh, but damn, it is so good. Let's not drag this out. We've got a lot to get through.
All right, let's do a quick recap of last week's episode because, things got messy.
That's putting it lightly. Celaena was out here not assassinating people, making deals, and casually snooping around the castle like the world's deadliest detective.
Meanwhile, Nehemia was not so subtly trying to light the rebellion match. Dorian was having an existential magical crisis, and Chaol, well, our dear captain of the guard, was trying very hard not to lose his mind over Celaena and failing spectacularly.
Also, shout out to Mort! Grumpy talking door knocker extraordinaire, who had to put up with Celaena's endless questions.
Honestly, MVP of the book so far.
Oh boy, if you thought last week had drama, buckle up because this week, absolute chaos.
We've got carnivals, witches, secret meetings, betrayals, and a full-blown wait, what did Elena just ask Nehemia to do moment.
Also, Celaena and Chaol finally crossed that damn line. And by cross the line, I mean bow chicka wow wow.
Twicey.
And while they're busy doing that, Dorian is out here trying not to get hexed by Baba Yellowlegs. And Chaol's about to have a really, really bad day. So let's get into it.
As always, we must do our shameless plug because without it, we will not be able to reach other wonderful people in our book lovers community. So be sure to subscribe, follow, and review our show on your favorite podcast listening platform. Your support means everything to us.
Make sure you're following us on social media for behind-the-scenes content, sneak peeks, and updates. Plus, every Saturday, Sunday, we'll post the chapters we're covering in the next episode so you can read along with us.
We want you to get to know us, so join us every Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. Central for a live Q&A on our YouTube and TikTok profiles. Whether you're burning to know more about the podcast, the chapters, or even something random like what our Hogwarts houses are.
We're thrilled to share that stickers and bookmarks are now available. Whether you want to deck out your water bottle, Kindle, laptop, or keep your place in your favorite book in style, we've got you covered. You can get them at bookedfor2.com or the link in our socials.
Oh, and before we dive in, this episode does contain spoilers for Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight. So if you're not caught up, well, consider this your official warning.
Also, fair heads up, this is an adult content show. We swear, we talk about murder, morally questionable characters, and let's be real, there's a good chance we're going to discuss some spicy scenes in graphic detail. If you're looking for a wholesome book club experience, well, that's adorable, but you might be in the wrong place.
And now, it's time to dive into chapters 19 through 27 of Crown of Midnight.
So let's turn the page.
Up first, chapter 19.
He-Man Woman Haters Club. Oh, Chaol, my sweet, emotionally constipated captain of the guard. It turns out he wasn't asleep when Celaena brushed her fingers through his hair and touched his face. Oh no, he felt all of it. And despite all of his self-control, he barely stopped himself from stepping right over the line that he so painstakingly drew. But no time for an existential crisis about his feelings. He's currently stuck in the medieval version of a corporate PowerPoint presentation, pretending to care about security logistics while internally spiraling about Celaena.
Homie is daydreaming ADHD considering this is his presentation.
Right? And then it hits him. Wait, he hasn't seen Dorian much this week. A not so gentle reminder that the boundary he has set between duty and desire isn't just some arbitrary moral code. No. He has already given up his family and his title. He wouldn't make those sacrifices mean nothing.
The king is way too interested in Chaol today. First, he orders him to keep an eye on Nehemia, suggesting she's stirring up too much trouble and might need to be shipped back to Elway. Then the real kicker, there's an anonymous threat against her life, which is news to Chaol considering he hears everything that goes down in the castle. This is super fucking suspicious. And then the king smiles.
This is a test.
100% a test. And to make things worse, Chaol isn't allowed to tell Nehemia about the threat or Celaena. And just like that, his carefully drawn line, it's looking less like a boundary and more like a smudged out mess. He starts rationalizing, telling himself it's fine, that he's just following orders. Then the king snaps him back to reality, demanding his oath. And Chaol gives it just like that. My man is screwed.
Meanwhile, across the castle, someone else is also spiraling. Dorian is not okay. Sleep? Who needs it when you can work through your existential crisis with a little light swordplay? He's been dueling his own guards. Like, that's going to somehow stab the magic out of him. Because, in case we forgot, magic was supposed to be gone. His father doesn't have it. The records say it's been dormant for generations. And yet, here he is, mid-fight, having a full-blown magical meltdown.
Hey, at least he's working out his frustrations with exercise. Nothing better than trying to stab someone with a sword, am I right?
Totally right. Well, his third opponent decides no, and he calls it quits. And that's Roland's cue to stroll in, smirking like he's just bought the whole kingdom at a discount. Dorian's not interested in pleasantries. He's too busy noticing the new addition to Roland's jewelry collection. Yep. Another one of those shady black rings.
Uh-oh.
Because apparently Roland has officially joined the He-Man Woman Haters Club.
Those little rascals.
Cute. And then because Roland just can't help himself, he drops a casual, "Oh, hey, by the way, I actually canceled the labor camp vote, after you stormed out."
Dorian, just like us, very surprised by that. But his magical crisis is currently screaming louder than common sense. If anyone found out about what happened in that hallway, he wouldn't just lose his family, he'd lose his head. And now he's even doubting Nehemia.
Well, paranoia, party of one.
Right? Roland, meanwhile, is thriving off the chaos, still smirking about how the king nearly combusted on the spot when Dorian growled at the council yesterday. Honestly, Dorian kind of wishes he'd gone full Dark Phoenix just to see the look on the old bastard's face. Woo. And because Dorian's brain is a nightmare of overanalysis, he briefly wonders if maybe, just maybe, Roland is just a pawn in Borrington's schemes and could still be swayed to the light. Time to start playing the game. But first, he's got a carnival to check out.
Where, much like politics, the games are rigged. The prizes are disappointing. And the guy running the whole thing is a total crook.
Nice.
The carnival commissioned for Holland has it all. Black tents.
Check.
Caged wagons.
Check.
The Carnival of Mirrors.
Ooh.
Proudly boasting, "See illusions and reality collide." Dorian just grins. This is basically treason wrapped in a funhouse mirror, and honestly, he's here for it.
And so am I.
Then, a hand on his shoulder. Oh, it's just Chaol. Oh, and Celaena. She wanted a walk, apparently. The look exchanged between Dorian and Celaena is tense. Hers is kind of more of a wince. What would she think if she knew about the magic? How would she look at him then?
I honestly think she would try to help him.
Really?
Yeah, I really do.
I hope so. Well, they wander through the carnival together, weaving past booths and tents until they reach the biggest wagon of them all. An old, bent woman with iron teeth is watching them, grinning like she already knows all their secrets. Woo! And her name is Baba Yellowlegs.
Yeah, maybe I'll skip this carnival after all.
No, I want to go.
Well, Celaena goes full Casper, and so do I, as Baba welcomes them to see their futures. Chaol steps in protectively, Dorian notices. He thinks this is just your standard carnival scam, but Celaena, she's not convinced. And when Baba Yellowlegs brags about being the last born witch in the Witch Kingdom, Celaena physically steps back. Celaena tries to nope out, but Baba isn't done. However, they are being cheap asses, so she shoos them off to make room for paying customers, which sets Chaol off. He warns her to watch her mouth unless she wants to lose her tongue. Baba, completely unfazed, fires back.
Come and get it.
Dorian drags a still pale Celaena away, but Baba has one last parting gift.
Hide from fate all you like, but it shall soon find you.
And yeah, Dorian is not about to make eye contact with an iron-toothed witch who's out here delivering ominous one-liners like she's the villain in a Jordan Peele movie.
Nice. Well, Celaena is shaking, and the last thing she needs is for Chaol to notice. The legends she grew up hearing, they are very real for her right now. Baba Yellowlegs isn't just some old woman. She actually radiates something other, something that chills Celaena straight to her bones. And that wagon, for a second, all she wanted was to step inside, like something was waiting for her.
Never, ever, ever step inside.
Never. Then there's the crown of stars that the witch is wearing, and her amulet suddenly starts to feel heavy and warm, just like outside the library that night with the shadow. Whatever curiosity she had about what was in the carnival cages, gone. Her only curiosity now is Baba Yellowlegs herself. If she comes back to the carnival, she's bringing Nehemia for backup, though.
As she should. Suddenly, Celaena realizes they've arrived at the royal stables where Dorian is handing Chaol his birthday gift early.
Ooh.
An Asterian stallion, a gift fit for a prince. Chaol, being Chaol, immediately tries to refuse.
Of course he does.
But Celaena, because it must be One Up Wednesday, casually mentions she once had an Asterian mare, Casita, tomato, drinker of the wind in the Red Desert dialect. And mares are rare, apparently, which of course is why Celaena had one because she stole it from the Lord of Xandria.
Classic.
She promises to tell that story another time, but drops an even bigger surprise, because why not one up one more time? She's been planning something for Chaol's birthday for weeks.
Oh.
Happy birthday, Chaol, whether you like it or not.
She bids them goodnight, trying not to dwell on how Baba Yellowlegs' words sounded a little too much like what Mort had said during the eclipse. So naturally, she makes the completely logical choice. Head straight back to the tomb, alone. Nehemia's still working on the eye riddle, but Celaena's out of patience. Time to test the mystery hole in the wall with her necklace, because what's the worst that could happen?
Who knows?
Who knows? All right. This was a fun chapter.
And to the top. So Chaol was not sleeping when Celaena touched him, but he is determined to be loyal to the king and to the crown prince.
He has been instructed to watch Nehemia and not tell her about the threat, nor tell Celaena about the threat. And this definitely seems like a test.
It's 100% a test. The king does not fully trust Dorian, especially with how close he is seeing him and Celaena getting.
Yep.
And with all the stuff Nehemia, he said that a lot of people are starting to sway her way in the castle, which is why he wants Nehemia watched. So,
but he doesn't want her to know, and he doesn't want her to know about the threat, supposedly, and no one else knows about it, just the king knows about it. That's not sus at all.
But that's smart. That's smart, though, because now Chaol's the only other one to know it. So if Celaena or Nehemia finds out about it,
it's clear that he did it.
Exactly.
But why would no one else know about it? Like, why isn't that immediately a red flag? Like, okay, I'm the captain of the Royal Guard, and literally no one else, only one person, only the king has heard about this threat. Like, oh, I mean, I guess it could be like a Lord Varys or Baelish that just directly reports to him, or one of his secret guards.
I mean, it could be. I don't think it's that complicated.
Yeah.
I think it is that simple. The king is just trying to test him and be like, hey, I'm going to give him this bullshit. And let's see if he tells these women. And if he does, I automatically know it's him because he's the only one that knows it.
It 1000% feels like a test. I'm with you, for sure. Dorian did not sleep after shattering the wall in the window. Understandably so.
Yes.
What the hell just happened? So he's trying to swordplay himself into exhaustion.
Which is a lot better than just sitting and stewing in your room. At least he's doing exercise. I know when I go for walks in the park, that helps me think and calm down when I have like a little bit of anxiety. If I have something I really need to think about, and that's what it seems like he's doing.
Yeah, using exercise, sometimes showers or bath times work too.
Yeah, but let's think about what's going through his head. So magic is gone.
And it hasn't been in the Haviliard line for generations. So,
This is our first time hearing this, right?
yeah, and that means that it has been in the Haviliard line before, which we know from Elena in the tomb, right?
Yeah, so that's what we've had that question before.
Mm-hmm.
How is it jumping generations? So we might finally get our answer to that,
Ooh.
hopefully.
I hope to get the answer to that. That's great.
Now let's talk about his cousin.
All right, yeah, more in the family. He might not be a total shit, maybe? What do you think? Is this keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer? Do you think Borrington and the king kind of have Roland scoping out Dorian?
No. I
No.
think Roland is a total shit.
Okay.
I think he's going to play both sides.
Ooh, double agent.
What is with me and the double agent? I said that with Archer, Borrington. Well, Borrington, I think, is 100% playing with the king.
For sure.
But Roland, I don't know.
Out for himself?
Maybe because he wants power too. And I think he might see the weakness in the king with Dorian standing up to him. And maybe that's why he's going to latch himself. Because remember, people always latch themselves to power. So when someone starts losing power, they start latching themselves to others. And especially like a young prince who has a lot more. And he has a ring. I don't know. He has a ring.
That track. I like that. Okay.
But he has a ring. So he's a shit.
He's a shit.
No matter what, you have a ring, you're a shit.
But what side or sides is he playing? So I guess we'll find out about that.
I don't know. I might have to take that back because if he has a ring, he's got to be playing 100% with the king. He still could be playing for himself and try to take power later, but he's obviously knows what the king and Borrington have been doing with the ring stuff.
No, not necessarily. They don't have to tell him anything that they've done up to this point. It's called separation of information.
What if he's playing Dorian?
If Roland is playing Dorian?
What if he's acting like Dorian's friend? What if the king, because of what happened with the blow up in there, what if the king took Roland aside and said, hey, pretend to be friends with Dorian, vote his way and all this stuff to find out what the heck is going on with my son, why my son is acting like this. I mean, the dude has a ring. There's no way he's good at all.
No, I don't think so. I think Roland's out for himself. He's a little shit. Roland shit.
Yeah, Roland shit, nice. From Schitt's Creek.
Yes.
But he's either out for himself or the king told him to watch Dorian and Dorian is trying to watch him. It's like The Departed, the one with Jack Nicholson and Matt Damon, Leonardo DiCaprio, where Leo's a cop, but they have him undercover with the mob. Matt Damon is with the mob, but they have him undercover as a cop, and they're like watching each other, but they don't know. That's kind of what's going on here with Roland and Dorian.
Watching each other.
It's a whole Departed thing.
Okay. I don't think I've seen that. So
what?
That meant nothing to me.
We will fix that ASAP. Okay. Listeners, I promise I will have her watch The Departed.
Okay, apparently I'm watching The Departed. What is up with Baba Yellowlegs? What the heck are Iron Teeth witches? So we hear about other witches, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now we hear about Iron Teeth witches. This is the first reference, right?
This might be the first reference for Iron Teeth witches that I remember.
Me too.
So it sounds like there's other types of witches.
Okay. That sounds like some good lore. Maybe we'll get some backstory about that. Also, what is inside her wagon that's calling to Celaena? What do you think? Bad? Good? The truth? I'm hoping it's the truth. And do you think she'll go back?
You tell me.
I think she'll go back. And I think she'll bring Nehemia with her just as backup because girl power. Why not?
What do you think's in there?
Probably another goddamn tapestry.
A tapestry?
It's probably just a wagon full of tapestries. I'm going to be so mad.
No, I think it's worse. I think it's a trap.
Oh, a trap how? What would be calling from inside that would be a trap?
Never seen
Magical?
Stardust? You ever seen Stardust?
Yeah, you let me watch it.
That witch at the wagon who the woman went there for help and then she like enslaved her.
Yeah.
And she was a princess and they turned her into like some other, I forget the animal, turned her into an animal so no one would recognize her.
Now I don't know if she even wants to go back in Nehemia. Maybe bring the whole gang. And Chaol and Dorian and Reese.
Yeah.
Let's bring them all.
Well, I think Baba Yellowlegs is just a creepy old lady and she's going to play really big into other people's fates and fortunes.
Do you think she's an actual witch?
100% witch.
Okay. Awesome. I think Celaena 1000% thinks she's a witch. Dorian's not feeling it. And I don't know what do you think Chaol thinks? Do you think he thinks?
No, Chaol thinks it's a scam, but Celaena does not, especially when she said that she is the last born witch of the Witch Kingdom and that made her step back. So she has heard some shit and knows things about those witches.
And all legends have some basis in something, right?
Exactly.
All right. Well, let's talk about somebody's birthday coming up. I didn't know it was Chaol's birthday coming up.
Yes.
And he gets an early birthday present from his buddy Dorian, a gift worthy of a prince. It's very awkward. Everything about her reactions and interactions with him are so awkward right now.
All three of them are very awkward together. I need to figure it out.
Yeah, fucking figure it out.
So you ready to turn the page?
I am. Let's go.
Up next, we have chapter 20.
Secrets behind stone and shadows in dreams.
Celaena makes her way back down the tomb. Yes, the tomb, with Mort fully prepared to ruin his night. Judging by the deeply annoyed sigh he lets out the second she steps inside, mission accomplished. She has questions. Is the amulet magic? How can something this old still work? Mort, already done with the conversation, informs her that it protects her. Celaena, of course, isn't buying it. It has to be for something bigger.
Hey, you also think the Eye of Elena fits in there.
I do, and we're about to find out. Mort tells her she's probably wrong.
Haha.
Uh-oh. Celaena naturally ignores him completely and marches straight over to the mystery hole in the wall. With all the confidence of someone who absolutely should not be doing this, she presses the amulet to the eye-shaped indent.
Indiana Jones style. Celaena Sardathian and the Eye of Elena.
I would totally watch that one.
I would too.
And it fits. Well, kinda, but not really. It doesn't. Let's be honest. Okay, I was wrong. And Mort's annoyance levels are now off the charts.
Listen, she tried it every which way. Backwards, forwards, upside down, nothing. Just a blank wall, bathed in the shaft of moonlight from some vent above. Ooh, maybe it needs a spell. It's worth a shot, right? So naturally, she goes with the classic. Time's Rift.
Okay, we cannot be turning people on randomly. Jesus.
Why not? I don't know why I keep doing that. Well, the wall does exactly nothing.
I did something.
Oh, heavens. Meanwhile, Mort is having the time of his door knocker life, thoroughly enjoying her struggle. But he does throw her a bone, confirming that the riddle does reference something hidden inside the tomb behind the wall. Still not the right question, though. Celaena, thoroughly done with this nonsense, stalks off in frustration.
So Mort did his job well.
Good job, Mort.
Well, not to bring everyone down, but Celaena's dreaming again. It's always the same dream, the same night of the year. Behind her, wasted, barren land, lifeless. In front, a chasm. Beyond it, a lush, dark wood brimming with life. The divide is clear, and yet she stands on the wrong side.
And of course, there's a freaking white stag.
Go Stags!
Standing on the other side of this chasm watching her. She has seen him before through the bars of her prison wagon on the way to Indovir. Okay, noted. She takes a step forward toward the edge of the ravine. The darkness yawns beneath her, a void of memories she won't or can't face. The stag steps closer, silent, beckoning her. Come on. But the chasm only widens. She doesn't cross. And the stag, he turns away.
So it disappeared?
No, he turns and walks away. He didn't disappear.
Do we know that? 'Cause
No.
She came out of her dream a lot pretty quickly because she jolts awake and the fire has died out. The moon is gone and the weight of that same damn dream presses down on her like a warning she refuses to understand. She's had it every year since that night. The night everything she loved was ripped away. The night she woke up covered in blood that wasn't hers. And at this point, even Freddy Krueger would tell her to take a night off. Instead, before dawn, she leaves the castle.
Chaol shows up to Celaena's room, ready for their usual morning run, except she's nowhere to be found. Instead, Nehemia is there having a spot of tea alone. Celaena is taking the day off, Nehemia informs him. It has been 10 years since her parents' death. And suddenly, Chaol realizes there are some wounds even the strongest warriors can't outrun.
Okay, let's take it from the top.
Oof. All right, Celaena and Scott, both hopeful that the Eye of Elena would be the key, that it would be that easy. I'm telling you, multi-part key, bring the sword in, and the Eye of Elena, and the little eye on the wall. I got my fingers crossed.
Okay. Yes, I was wrong on this one, and you are most likely right because... No, I get it. Bring the two together because you're bringing Gavin and Elena together. Gavin's sword, Elena's eye, bring them together. My question was the hilt where the eye is. I just didn't know like the size of the amulet like fitting wise. You know,
Yeah,
that's my only question.
I have no concept of if they are even close to the same size. I assume that in the sword, the iris will maybe fit the gem that's in the eye of Celaena was kind of my thought process.
Well, so here's my thing. I forgot that we do have the fan art
Mhm.
of the eye of Celaena.
Mhm.
So remember, the eye is a perfect circle
Mhm.
with 2 circles inside of it that make an eye in the middle.
Mhm.
So I don't think it would fit the hilt because the hilt is only shaped like an eye.
But where is the gemstone?
The gemstone is inside the eye.
And that's what I'm saying. What if it's just
You have
the
to like
gemstones?
hold them up together?
Like if the gemstone areas line up together and you look through it that way is kind of what I was thinking. Not that they necessarily fit together. I don't know. It was just a thought.
It's too bad we can't just like make or 3D print an eye and a sword and like try it ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That'd be kind of fun. All right, well, let's take it down a notch to the next scene.
Yeah.
So Celaena is dreaming a dream that she has every single year.
The same day.
And a stag appears from across a chasm. Not a chasm, a
no.
chasm.
I think that's where her memories are, is in that chasm that she can't cross, won't cross, that darkness that she refuses to acknowledge, maybe?
Oh, and the stag is calling her because that is her heritage. That is her the royal symbol of Terraston. And it's saying, come over, cross this chasm to learn about your memories and become who you really are. Remember who you are.
Ah, her Mufasa moment. What if the darkness of the chasm is an actual magical spell that is blocking that? Did you say that? Is that your thought?
That was not my thought. And I like that you have that thought. Yay. That is a great tinfoil hat one right there. Okay, so a magic barrier blocking her memories. That makes sense.
Maybe she did it to herself. Maybe she has to choose to cross in order to unlock it, and it'll be something as easy as that. I don't know.
It could be, but also you and I are very well versed in psychology, and we both know that extreme traumatic events, especially at that age, we can lock away and completely forget forever. So that could also be just a metaphorical chasm, just, her subconscious blocking her.
It's protection. She's probably protecting herself.
But unfortunately it causes anxiety because we don't face it. So, and that's what the stag is asking her to do. Like, you need to face this trauma, just like we all do in life. Like when we have that trauma, instead of running away from it and hiding it, we need to face it head on. And that's the only way you're going to become who you really are as a person.
Yep.
And that's what she needs to do too.
Yep. Get some therapy, face your trauma, realize about yourself, learn about yourself.
We all need our Mufasa moment.
Yes.
To remember who you are.
Yes. Remember who you are.
Well, Chaol was looking for her.
Yeah. He came to give her grief because she's apparently, quote unquote, skipping their run. Just because you don't feel like going out in the cold, that's no reason to skip out on your run, only to find that she is not there.
But Nehemia is there.
Nehemia is
What
there.
is Nehemia doing there? Do you think Nehemia talked to her before she left, or do you think Nehemia just knows where she's at? And why is Nehemia there?
SJM said that there were some books piled up in front of the princess and that she looked up from one when he entered. So
word mark training.
Word mark training?
Okay.
Maybe
yeah,
she was there for that.
I completely forgot about that. Yes, that's word mark training. Okay, that makes sense. Because that's right. They normally do that after their run together. So she was probably waiting there to get back from the run. She didn't show up. And then she figured it out because Nehemia's smart.
No, it actually says there was a note.
Oh, okay.
She picked up a note that was lying among the books. She has taken the day off, reading from the note before setting it down. So I guess that's all she said was, I'm taking the day off. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, but I think obviously Nehemia figured it out because she said today is the 10th anniversary of her parents' death. So that was not in the note. Nehemia just knows.
Yes. All right.
So Nehemia knows a lot more than we think because she knows that. So she knows who Celaena is.
You think so?
She knows she's Aelin. Come on.
She knows a lot that she's not telling
much.
people.
She knows so much. Nehemia
and
knows.
if Celaena knows and Mort knows, come on.
Look, we're sleeping on Nehemia hard. We're sleeping on that girl. She knows so much shit. She knows everything, and we're sleeping on her.
She's even sneakier than Archer. Does she have gray eyes?
No, because her and Archer are working together. She's in control of the rebellion. I guarantee it.
And you think she got Archer in on it when she found out about Celaena having to go to Archer?
Maybe that's how they found out about Archer. Is maybe they followed Nehemia one day and saw them talking together, and they don't want to kill Nehemia yet because she's too important. That could really rile up Elway if they did something to her. And Nehemia would, if they keep following Nehemia, then they lead her to more rebels.
I
different
am
cells.
Still gonna stick to I think killing Archer is a test. Like the king is testing
Celaena.
Chaol. guarding Nehemia and not telling her about the threat, I think that he's testing Celaena with Archer's death. He is testing everyone to see where everybody's loyalties lie.
Yeah, I mean, it could be that simple.
Maybe.
This is the tinfoil hat episode of epic proportions.
I'm so excited about it all.
Speaking of more tinfoil hats, are you ready to turn the page?
I am.
And now, on to chapter 21.
Revenge, regret, and a side of cake.
Chaol remembers Cain taunting Celaena about her parents. She had only been 8. He remembers what happened to Terrasen, the horrors, the devastation. He cannot imagine what she's been through. He turns to Nehemia.
How does she know? Yeah, how does she know?
She just knows. I'm telling you, she knows more than what we think she knows. But her response is simple.
She didn't tell me, but I know.
See, exactly. And that's the problem. Nehemia knows too much about Celaena, about everything, which is probably why the king is having her followed.
That tracks. But Nehemia didn't need Celaena to say a word. She just knew. Some people read books. Nehemia reads hearts. And today...
I thought that was a very beautiful line in the book, by the way.
But today, Celaena needed to be as far from Rifthold as possible, especially away from the castle. So, Chaol took the morning run alone, and he ran hard. He pushed himself until his muscles burned, until his breath became ragged, until the exhaustion settled deep into his bones.
In a forest near Rifthold, Celaena and Fleetfoot had been walking since dawn. Their silence today was a rare gift, one she actually appreciated. Then her mind dragged her back to Endovier, the day she snapped. Well, not snapped. That implied feeling. This was pure, unfiltered rage. The kind that burned through her the moment she woke from a dream of a stag in a ravine. She sat down with Fleetfoot, the memory slamming into her like a Taylor Swift bridge at full volume. The day in Endovier. The day everything changed.
Oh, back in Endovier, Celaena rips the pickaxe free from the first overseer's body. She's gone over the edge this time. The other slaves don't even bother asking for help because there is no help. Not for them, not for him, not for anyone standing in her way. She stalks deeper into the mines, cutting through guards like a blade through silk, Kill Bill style. Focused, relentless, hunting down the 4 overseers who used and butchered the Elway woman who once showed her kindness. There were swords. She could have taken one from the guards she killed, but no. The axe, that was perfect for them.
Hell yeah. She found the first 2 overseers and let them see the rage in her eyes before she cut them down. Too quick. Too easy. But that didn't matter. She tore through the guards, her fury growing sharper with every strike. There were still 2 more overseers left, and she wasn't done. This wasn't just revenge. This was justice.
She dropped her axe, and the other slaves knew this was not an escape, as they were all still silent. When she reached the surface, she dispatched more guards before they even knew what hit them. More guards rushed her, and as she fought with pure rage, her only thought was, no more. I will kill until they put an arrow through my neck. As she reached the wall, surrounded by 40 guards, she still took out 4 more before they were able to knock her out.
Woo! Well, we changed scenes. Chaol was waiting for Celaena when she returned home. It was already midnight, and Chaol could see the sadness in her. Chaol was unsure if he should be there. Maybe he should have waited for her to come to him. She tells him she doesn't want company, but he tells her that want and need are 2 very different things. That he will even sleep on the couch, but then she notices the beautiful chocolate cake calling her name. Definitely in need. Good job, Chaol. My man can learn. True Chaol smoothie there.
Heck yeah. She moves closer. He knows he should step away, but he doesn't. Instead, he reaches for her, and she wraps her arms around him, holding on, and for a moment, it's enough. Then she pulls back just slightly, searching his face. Chaol wants so badly to kiss her. Then softly she says, I can't tell if I should be ashamed of wanting to hold you on this day, or grateful that despite everything, it somehow brought me to you. The words hit him. He has no response. He steps back. They both have so much to overcome. Down boy. And before he can even think of a response, she walks over to the cake and digs in. Atta girl.
Hey, she had an emotional night. She needs that cake to bring her spirits up.
That's what I'm talking about. Chocolate cake for the win.
All right, well, let's start at the beginning. So Nehemia definitely knows more about Celaena than Chaol thought.
For sure. But she's paying attention to everything, not just what's being said. She's feeling and...
Well, Nehemia's an empath.
Intuitive. Yes, that's what I was going for.
Yeah, she is definitely an empath. She can feel the people's feelings. Just like when the 500 rebels were murdered, I think she felt that pain.
Ooh.
It was almost like when Obi-Wan Kenobi in the first Star Wars, when they destroyed Princess Leia's homeworld, and he said that from even far away in the galaxy, he could feel the millions of people, being and that's probably how she feels, because Nehemia is magical, so maybe that's part of her magic abilities, the empath thing.
Oh, I hope. Oh, man, that would be absolutely terrible.
Right?
I don't wish that on anyone, even my worst enemy.
And what we don't wish on our worst enemies is what happened to Terracin. And Chaol remembers everything.
So he understands exactly why she needs this space, so he's not pushing for her to go on the run. He's like, oh, I get it. Let me go run this out by myself. I get it.
Well, speaking of his run, thing that I noticed where it says he ran hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like as hard as he's ever ran before, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's because Chaol is upset about everything that he's working for. Because he's working for the king that has ruined so many lives. He's seeing how it's affected the woman that he loves on this day 10 years ago. And I think he's running it out. He doesn't know how to feel about that. He's conflicted.
Oh, so he's coming to some more realization, some more growth for Chaol.
And it's just like what Dorian did with the sword fighting to get his feelings out. And just like what I do, I go for runs to, like, if I have a lot of pent up energy or I need to get some feelings out, I'll go for a run or go to the gym. And that's exactly what Chaol's doing. He's going for a run to think that's his way of doing it.
Speaking of running, Celaena ran through all those guards and overseers. Loved that play-by-play of her badassness. When her brutality comes out, when push comes to shove, that's scary.
I think that was the first time we actually kind of saw her brutality, because we heard the story about this Endovier experience, but this is the first time we saw it. And she cut through probably 40 to 60 guards before it took 40 at one time to stop her. And she still took out 4.
And she was so close to the wall. I'm not sure what her plan was at the wall, but like, could she have scaled it? I'm not sure. But that is insane. That is badass.
Tinfoil hat real quick. I want to talk about possible epic level power that she could have. If she is doing this without her magical abilities, with her magical abilities being latent, and she's able to take people out like this, granted she is the greatest assassin, but still, that's insane. Imagine how she's going to be. She's going to be OP. I hope she's not OP. I don't want her to be like overpowered, but she's going to be absolutely insane.
I'm wondering if she's already tapping into them, but she's young. So if Dorian's just now tapping into his, he's a little bit older. So if it's an age-based thing, but it could also be a trauma-based thing. Maybe the anger and the whatever that Dorian is going through right now is what's getting his powers all ramped up. And maybe her time in Endovier is what got hers ramped up. I don't know. Just thoughts.
No, you could be right. Because in Throne of Glass, didn't it say, like, wasn't it towards the beginning of Throne of Glass where it mentioned when she got upset, something icy in her arm or veins?
Yeah.
And it mentioned that again, I think in this book, Crown of Midnight. I don't know if it was in earlier chapters, but at one point she got all icy veined as well. She got upset about something and that got her all icy veined. I forget what it was completely.
Oh, I can't wait.
But you know who keeps waiting for her?
Chaol.
And what did he have waiting with him?
Chocolate cake.
Yay!
He's so good. He learned so quickly. I love this for her. Also, chocolate cake will work on me.
Yeah, but you know what else will work on you when you're upset?
What?
Queso.
You are not wrong. Queso might actually work better, if we're being honest.
Yeah, and then I can also partake with you.
Yes, that's true. We should have some queso later.
I'm down.
All right, well, he knows she doesn't want company, but knows that she needed someone, and he did not suggest Nehemia. He knows Nehemia would have been a good one because they're friends, but he wants her to lean on him, or to, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, he knows that it could have been Nehemia.
He wants to be her emergency contact, basically.
Yeah. He wants to be the one that she turns to.
Yes.
Yeah. You're my emergency contact.
I would hope so. We're married.
That's fair. All right. Are you ready to turn the page?
Let's go. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, it's chapter 22.
Stewing in secrets. Dorian busies himself in the library, poring over family records and genealogical charts. Exciting. There's no way that he's the only one with magic. Someone, somewhere in his bloodline must have had it, right?
Way too many generations not to have magic.
Okay, what about Holland? Maybe that little gremlin will get his in 9 years when he's Dorian's age.
Ew.
Honestly, it would serve him right. But if that happens, at least Dorian will be there to guide him, right? To make sure that he doesn't turn into their father. Then there's the Fae. Powerful, wise, and yet they fled The king's armies were too strong, and the humans, who the Fae had shared magic with, betrayed them. So, what happened? Where did the magic go?
That's a good question. Dorian scoured the Havillard family tree from his mother's side, tracing it back to the very beginning. Not a single magic wielder for generations. No answers and no explanation. Frustrated, he pulled the oldest genealogical book he could find. At the very top of the tree was Gavin. Now remember, Gavin, the legendary king who had challenged the Dark Lord Erewhon in the Rune Mountains, where a third of his men were slaughtered, but it was also where he met his half-fae bride, Celaena, daughter of Brandon, and yet there's still no fae blood in the Havillard line. Something is not adding up.
I'm not great at math, but something is definitely not adding up here. I really do need that family tree in the red strings. So Dorian traced the family tree until the branches blurred together, feeling that. The names twisting into an endless maze. Finally, he snapped the book shut, frustration curling in his chest. If Celaena had gifted away her power, then the answers weren't here. They were in another line.
Which line?
The Galathinius line.
Aha!
Dorian was almost surprised, as we are, that his father hadn't burned this book. This bloodline came straight from the Fae King Brandon himself. It was powerful, so powerful that they could have conquered Aurelia if they had wanted to, but they never did. No matter how strong they were, they never took more than was theirs. And Dorian, as we do, wished his father was more like them.
The thought of this powerful bloodline being exterminated or driven into exile by his father unsettled him so much that he slammed the book shut, his pulse pounding in his ears. If Aelin had lived, would she be his friend, an ally, maybe something more, a bride? He had met Aelin once, long time ago, along with her cousin, who's apparently an asshole, and the boy had grown into the king's prize general, not too shocked, and his name is, I hope I'm saying this right, Aedion Ashriver.
Another name that we're going to have to figure out. So real quick on that, he met Aelin once long ago. I would like to know how long ago was. I'm very curious about that.
So it sounds like when they were children, it says in the book, he barely remembers. She had spilled something on a dress, and Aiden had always teased him. And another thing, he still meets Aiden every now and then. Apparently, Aiden wants to kill him. Aiden can't stand Dorian. Aedion.
Oh man, the plot thickens. It's just so many names, and so I really do need this genealogical tree. And then he's got Nehemia's words pounding around in his head, how she wanted to help him. Did she already know what was inside of him? But he doesn't actually have time to dwell on that. It's Chaol's birthday. And even if he wasn't actually invited to their dinner, Dorian still wanted to say happy birthday to his best friend. Celaena wasn't nervous. No, not even a little. Her palms were not sweating. Her breath is definitely steady. She smooths a hand over her shimmering dress, suddenly hyper aware of every inch of fabric. Okay, hopefully Chaol wasn't about to show up in his usual black tunic and brooding ensemble. She did tell him to dress well, but there's no more stalling. It's time. With a deep breath, she grabs her ermine cloak and steps out to meet him.
And would you look at that? Chaol actually listened. He cleaned himself up, maybe even ran a comb through his hair for once. This was a real Neville Longbottom puberty glow-up situation, and Celaena wasn't mad about it. He doesn't take his eyes off her as she strides across the hall, his expression as unreadable as ever, but then his gaze meets hers, and just like that, with a half smile, the entire mood shifts. Celaena smirks. Perfect. Because outside, a carriage is waiting to take her very respectable captain of the guard to a place where a man of his standing definitely shouldn't be seen.
The carriage ride through the city was filled with anything but last night. They sat on opposite sides talking about safe, simple things. Nothing that required looking too closely at what had changed. When they finally arrived at the old apothecary, Celaena led him upstairs, stopping at the last landing. Hand on the doorknob, she smirks. It's not an Asterian, she quips. Then she pushes the door open. Inside, the space has been transformed. A lush, enclosed glass greenhouse overflowing with flowers, fruit trees, hanging vines. There's glittering lights woven through every branch and leaf. It's casting a soft glow over the entire room. Sounds magical. She had spent hours arranging everything, making sure it would be perfect under the stars. A garden straight out of a legend, just like the one in a song they'd heard just days before, sang by Raina.
Not an Asterian, she says. I feel like this is way more personal and way better than Asterian. She's making everybody look bad with her gift-giving abilities.
You're not wrong.
Chaol asks if the song was the inspiration. He's in awe. Celaena, suddenly nervous, brushes it off. It's not much. Except to Chaol, it's everything. No one has ever done anything like this for him, which means Celaena is now very uncomfortable. Time to move on. She heads towards the table set for two, just as two servants appear, and Chaol in peak guard mode nearly murders them on sight.
Whoa, relax, Captain. They're just here to pull out the chairs.
Jesus, a little excessive, buddy. Celaena had gone all out. She even hired the cook from the Willow, the fancy tea house Archer likes, for an outrageous fee. She had a whole speech plan, but now, words, what are those?
Many happy returns. Wow. So eloquent. Truly a toast for the ages.
Hey, she tried. Give her A for effort.
A for effort. Chaol lifts his glass, clearly still in awe, and thanks her again for the stunning gift. And wait, does he have a tear in his eye?
It's enough to make a grown man cry, but not this man. Get back in there. Sucking that tear back up.
Nope. She's not dealing with that. She immediately tries to downplay it again, but he cuts her off. And because feelings are awful and must be crushed immediately, she goes for the classic deflection strategy. Dorian got you an Asterian stallion. Nailed it.
But Chaol was staring down at his suit. But Dorian doesn't know what my favorite stew is, does he?
Oh, holy shit. This is the soup moment.
This has to be the soup moment. I thought it was the dance, but this... Okay, soup moment. Soup.
Soup moment. Yeah, finally.
I'll make you some soup.
Okay. Oh, I love soup.
Now, should we burn this chapter in our memories forever? Is that what we're supposed to do since we know Akamath chapter 54? I probably got that wrong. I have not burned that in my memory.
54.
It's in the 50s.
It's in the 50s.
It counts.
It counts, yes. This is definitely the soup moment. I love it.
Yeah, so he also asks her, how long have you been paying attention?
And now her stew is suddenly the most fascinating thing in the world. She stares into its depths like it holds the answers to life itself.
She lies. Claims she bullied the head cook for the recipe. Sure, Celaena. Totally believable. Then she casually reveals that she's been paying attention. Surely he's broody and stealthy, but if you know where to look, you notice things. Like the fact that every time they had roast boar stew, she barely got a single spoonful before it mysteriously disappeared. Sounds like whenever we share a cheesecake and I take the whole thing.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Chaol actually tips his head back and laughs, a deep, real laugh. And damn it all, the sound sends heat rushing through her veins. But wait, there's more. This was just round one.
Woohoo! All right. The last crumb of chocolate hazelnut cake is gone. The last drop of sparkling wine is gone. Dinner is cleared. The servants are dismissed. Now it's just Celaena and Chaol standing on the small balcony at the far edge of the roof. Him leaning against the railing, the city stretching out below them. She hadn't expected this reaction. The dinner was supposed to be a nice surprise, nothing more. But the way he looked at her, the way that it had hit him, did no one in his life truly know him? Had no one ever cherished him?
And the sad thing is, a lot of men out there feel this way. A lot of men feel very unseen. Unfortunately, I see that pop up a lot on TikTok and other forums.
Well, I hope I make you feel cherished and seen.
Oh, you always do, of course.
Well, good. Well, his own family shunned him for choosing this path, for wanting to be a guard. And yet, to her, there was no one more noble, more loyal than Chaol Westfall. After everything, after Sam, after all the heartbreak and betrayals, she wasn't even sure that a man like him even existed anymore.
Celaena knows she has to tell him now what she's doing, or rather not doing. First, she makes him promise not to lose his mind, which of course immediately makes him worried.
You know shit's about to get real.
Oh yeah. Now officially on edge, Chaol watches her carefully as she hesitates, won't even look at him before finally admitting the truth. She hasn't killed any of the people the king ordered her to assassinate.
Silence. She won't even look at him. She keeps talking, explaining exactly what she has been doing, how she's faked every assassination, how she's planning to do the same for Archer. Finally, she dares to glance at him. His face is pale, and then he starts backing away, shaking his head.
You've gone mad.
Ooh-wee. That was a hell of a chapter. So much information.
Oh
my
yeah,
gosh.
tinfoil hat time to start with. We are going back up to the Haviliard line with Dorian.
Yes. All right. Dorian was really deep diving into those genealogical books and maps and lists, and probably has his own red string and all that good stuff, but we don't. So what all did we learn?
I wonder if he can let us borrow those for a little bit.
Right?
That'd be
great.
nice.
I would appreciate that. That'd
All
be
right,
great.
so what we know.
Okay.
The Villiard line does not have magic for some reason.
Okay. But
Even when someone who has magic marries into the family, their offspring, no magic.
the Galathinius line was a powerful line with magic.
Correct.
Okay.
And they were so powerful that they could have taken over the continent, as mentioned before, but they never did. So they were a very peaceful country. So somehow they were defeated, and we don't know how. And Dorian doesn't know how either. But they were exterminated, and the ones that survived...
or exiled?
Both. So
Okay.
So exterminated, and the ones that did survive so that they were exiled.
Okay, so both. All right. Oh, man. But then how did it hit Dorian? So how is he able to trace his line?
I have no idea, because you would think, or somebody would say, well, it's obvious Galathinius line. Well, true, because Celaena was a Galathinian, but then why did there's thousands of years of Villiards coming through. There was nobody else born with magic. So why was the other line of Galathinians born with magic? But that also says...
So real quick, I'm sorry. You said something earlier about if Celaena had given away her power. What if by giving it away, she cut it off from her line at that point?
Why would she cut it off?
Like, what if she accidentally did? What if she gave her power away when she married Gavin? Like, they said they could gift it to mortals.
Yeah, but I don't know what they mean. That's a weird word by gifting it to mortals, because I don't know if they're actually like gifting mortals magical powers and the mortals now have magical powers, or were they using their gifts? Were they using their magical powers as gifts? Like I can turn this into this, use my magical powers, and this will help your community or something.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I don't know exactly what all of that meant. So I guess we'll just have to tinfoil hat that one, as it could mean any number of things.
This is the first time we hear the Fae being exiled, and there's no Fae on Aurelia at all, but there's some on other continents.
And there's no magic only on Aurelia. So
yes,
there's magic elsewhere.
Well, that's why I question the gift thing, because only the Fae are gone. If other mortals had magic abilities, wouldn't they have sent them away or exiled them or killed them? Oh, wait, they're in Endovir. That's right, because remember in the beginning it said that some were in Endovir for possible magic wielding.
Oh, yes, that's right.
And they weren't Fae.
That's
So
right.
they
I
probably
forgot
did gift
about
the
that.
abilities, and then he drove the Fae away because it was easier to control humans and get rid of magic that way.
Man, it's got to be something with this tower, right?
Well, it's something with the tower, something with the evil army.
So, do you think the tower was built after Dorian was born?
No, it said it was built around the time he was born. It
Yes,
said around.
and I'm wondering if he was born and the king recognized, something has happened, and he built the tower. So, like, if he was born with the blue eyes, he's like, whoa, nuh-uh, I know what that means. And he's like, build that clock tower.
Did he build the clock tower because he thinks Dorian might have magic because of the blue eyes? Or did he build the clock tower when he was born and somehow the magic is being drawn into Dorian and he's like a conduit
Oh, man,
for
I
the
don't know.
portal? Dude, there's so many questions.
Ooh, okay. Well, all right.
Like we said, this is going to be a long episode of tinfoil hats.
Yeah, a long one.
I think we've exhausted Dorian,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah, I
now
think
we can
so.
go to a very, very beautiful planned birthday gift from Celaena.
That is a hell of a private birthday party. That is gorgeous. He wasn't expecting anything like that. She wasn't expecting his reaction. I don't think she had any idea just how impactful that was going to be for him.
She knew like the stew is what was the important thing. It's the details is what made it special. It wasn't where it was at, who she bribed to come cook. It was just the details. I noticed you like stew. Well, I can't make this stew. Let me go get this chef to make stew. And it was the same thing with you. The very first time that I shared a birthday with you on your birthday, I knew how much you like go-karting and video gaming and all that stuff. So I was like, okay, let's go to the track and do that. And then I made you
Crab cakes. Yes.
and I actually made my own hollandaise sauce and everything. It was
So good. Yes. And I love doing things for you, like the Mario Kart. We were doing a whole bunch of Mario Kart as a family, and we were coming up on your birthday. So we planned a whole Mario Kart birthday at the track. Apparently we like go-karts. And everybody had their own shirts with their names on it. They got to pick their own character, had them printed special for everybody. And we did several laps around the track for your birthday. I also just like noting little small things. And I know you do the same thing for me. What kind of candy I like, even though you think it's serial killer candy.
good and plenty. I'm so scared when I buy those. I feel like I'm being put on the FBI watch list whenever I buy the Good and Plenties.
You should buy more of them. I will be forever grateful. But, you know, peanut butter M&Ms are the other way.
Yes, I
And
know.
that feels less.
I know how much you love the peanut butter M&Ms. I bought a big bag. Here's 2 for you.
Hey, it's not my fault you waited. I still love you, though.
Oh, I love you too. All right, so you mentioned a soup moment.
Yes.
And they did. Soup was served.
Stew.
Soup. Stew is soup. I don't care what anyone says. Stew, soup. What is the difference anyway? Do you know the difference?
Not technically. I
know there's a difference.
bigger chunks.
Somebody's going to let us know what the difference is. I'm going to feel like a clown.
I've actually looked this up once upon a time, but I guess I didn't care enough to remember it. I do remember Googling it.
Yeah.
I just don't care anymore.
Because we know that the soup moment in Akamath was big because with Fae, and all these stories, Fae have very specific rules with mating, right?
Rituals.
There's always some ritual.
Yeah.
So the soup thing, like you have to offer food to the mate to accept them, right?
Yeah.
But there's no ritual like that for humans, and that's kind of what this is. Like something Chaol has never, ever, ever had done for him. So this is a big, big moment for him and for her because she went all out. His favorite soup, everything.
Probably his favorite dessert. It was probably all of his favorites wrapped into one.
So I don't care what anyone says that has read this. We can call this the soup moment for them.
I'm going to.
I feel like that's what this is.
Yes.
It's a cute moment. Very well done.
I love this for them.
All right. Are you ready to turn the page?
I am. Let's go.
Like the great Michael Jordan, chapter 23.
No takebacks, no regret. There is no way that Celaena is this reckless. Chaol refuses to believe it. If the king finds out, when he finds out, he'll kill her. He tells her as much. His words are sharp, urgent. Celaena just shrugs it off, though, insisting, hey man, I've got this handled. And what exactly does he expect her to do? Kill innocents? And of course, Chaol's reply is, and we quote,
those men are traitors to the crown.
Traitors? Traitors for refusing to grovel before a conqueror? For sheltering escaped slaves trying to get home? For daring to believe in a world that's better than this godforsaken place? I will not be his butcher.
You swore an oath to him.
And how many oaths did he swear to foreign rulers before he marched in with his armies and destroyed everything? How many oaths did he swear when he ascended the throne, only to spit on those promises?
He will kill you, Celaena. He'll kill you and make me do it as punishment for being your friend.
Ooh-wee.
There's some arguing, and Celaena tells Chaol about the intel archers feeding her, like movements in Terracin. She talks about using it to bargain for a shorter sentence, a way out. Chaol basically tells her it's a terrible idea because the king would have whipped her before she even got a chance to negotiate. Then he asks if she had her freedom, where would she even go? She doesn't hesitate. Far, far away. This was given serious Rapunzel staring at the floating light's energy, dreaming of freedom, but not quite sure what comes next.
And that's when she says it. Her place would be as far away from Otterland as possible. And then Chaol, sweet, sweet summer child that he is, drops this bomb. I know, I'm so sorry. I know.
I am totally Ron Burgundy.
I
am Ron Burgundy right now. Because it's not highlighted. I'm totally Ron Burgundy. I'm just like staring off into space like it's purple.
There. I just Ron
Purple.
Burgundy. Yep.
I Ron Burgundy.
It's fixed now, sir.
Okay, let's start that one over.
You better leave that Ron Burgundy reference.
I don't, dude. It was purple, and I was like, I'm not talking because it's purple, and I'm orange, so it messed me all up.
Okay. And then Chaol, sweet summer child that he is, drops the bomb.
We'll find that place.
Whoa, wee? Not French wee, but wee.
You said wee.
Okay, Chaol, what now? What's going on?
Look, I'm not here to downplay the moment, but let's be real. If you're listening to this, you've read the book. You know the sappy speech that follows the whole, you're more important to me than being the captain of the guard thing. And let's be honest, most of you go crazy for this kind of thing, right?
Oh my gosh, yes. This is what we live for. This is what I live for.
Yeah, well, Celaena does also, which is why she's crying. And she tells him that he is how the world ought to be. And yeah, second first kiss, but first with Chaol.
Ooh, yes. I also cried at that part when she told him that he is how the world ought to be. And the kiss flips her world upside down. This is one of those blockbuster romance moments where everything just shifts. Think the rain kiss from The Notebook or upside down kiss in Spider-Man. It was their first kiss, but it felt like she had just found something she hadn't even realized was missing. His lips, warm, hesitant, bold, brushed against hers, a mix of excitement and restraint.
Yes.
For a heartbeat, he pulled back.
Oh, yeah.
locking eyes with her like
eyes.
he was waiting for reality to crash
Waiting.
back down on them.
Just waiting.
It never did because because in that second something snapped. Desire crackled between them.
Desire.
And before she could second guess it, she was pulling him back in, arms around his neck, pressing herself against him. And when he kissed her again,
What happened?
it sent shockwaves through her, the kind that rewrites everything.
Yes.
Like the climatic scene in a cult classic where life is never the same again.
Oh, that's my favorite. Well, they went full out makeout sesh on the roof, then again in the carriage.
Oh, heavens.
By the time they reached the castle gates, they'd barely pulled themselves together. Respectable, composed, total professionals, right?
Demure.
Very demure. But once they were back in her rooms, that was a night neither of them would forget. She had waited before with Sam, but by then it had been too late. But this time, she wasn't waiting. This was a moment she'd never be more sure of in her life. And then they banged.
Oh, come on. That was so eloquent for her first time, babe.
Well, I don't know why I have this part.
I don't know why either.
What would you have said?
I don't know.
They made sweet, passionate love for the first time, and it was everything she'd ever remembered.
Ever thought it could be.
Is that a little bit better? Well, anyway, the very next morning, basking in that unmistakable new sex smell,
Oh my gosh.
Chaol Smoothie must have done his job right because Celaena was happy, exhausted, and not even pretending to regret a thing.
Oh, and like any good man, he checked in, making sure she was good. We always appreciate the check-in. Well done, Chaol.
Good job.
Heck yeah, Chaol. Gold star for that one. But because reality always has to show up eventually, Chaol starts thinking about the consequences now. The king, the potential punishment, the absolute disaster that would follow if anyone found out. Celaena, ever the strategist, assured him, we could just keep it a secret. She also made another call, not telling Dorian.
That's a very, very bad call.
Oh, okay. Why do you think that?
Well, because hiding it from him is basically lying. You're saying you don't trust him enough, even though he knows that those two have feelings for each other. This can cause just unwanted drama. Just be upfront.
Oh, that's fair. You know what? We don't need any more drama. No added drama, thanks. But for good measure, she tells Chaol she doesn't have feelings for Dorian anymore. So check that off your list.
Now add some more flirting, some playful teasing, those new relationship questions that feel like the most important conversations in the world. You know the ones. When did you know? What was the moment? Soft smiles, shy confessions, and then, as any good man would do, Chaol took one look at her, decided round one wasn't nearly enough, and dove in for seconds. All right, giggity giggity.
Oh my gosh. All right, let's go back up to the beginning before he does the flipperoo.
Before he got reckless.
Before he gives me whiplash, he can't believe that she would be this reckless. Then he's like, that's cool. I'm going to go with you. I'm with you all the way. No matter what I just said in the last chapter about being all about the king and being loyal and not crossing that line. Yeah, you could just forget all of that.
Well, you remember what he said at the end of the last chapter. Old boy was like, you've gone mad. And you and I thought, oh, God, Chaol Chip's back. Not Chaol Smoothie anymore.
Yeah, I thought Chaol Chip was in full force. So full surprise on the...
But then skirt, pump the brakes.
Like legit whiplash.
Yeah, he's like, I will go with you. Full on family Von Trapp from Sound of Music.
Yes.
Climb every mountain, Chaol.
Woo.
Ford every stream.
And then I guess that is the correct answer because they get their first kiss. Finally. And then it escalated. So.
Yeah, not just first kiss.
Yeah, first kiss, making out.
But then they pretend, all casual, walking in the castle. Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here.
We're cool. But as soon as they get back to the room, clothes are probably just, you know how it is.
Flying all over the place.
You know how it was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember you were shocked about some moves I had first time. Mm-hmm. 3 moves to be exact.
Listen, that is not for this podcast.
Don't worry. We'll keep those moves private. That's just for us. Well, speaking of embarrassing people, for some reason, I got the fun parts that probably you should have done. Probably. I took our girl Celaena's first time. This is why I feel like a dad here.
Yeah, you were kind of worried about taking that scene.
But so she's 18, old enough to be at least my daughter. Okay.
Yes, your daughter.
So it's just weird. I was worried about the sex scene, how I would feel. And I hate to say, being a man, it's just a feeling. And this is the whole point of this podcast, is to give a man's point of view and a woman's point of view to these type of stories, right? So as a man's point of view, as a 40-year-old man's point of view, reading about an 18-year-old's sexcapades. I was really hoping it wasn't going to be graphic, and I'm very glad that it was done this way. It's very cute. It was fun, and I was like, all right, cool. She lost her virginity. We're good to go, and I didn't feel weird about it.
So you may be more for the closed door, behind the door scenes.
When it comes to age, again, even with Feyre in ACOTAR, I felt a little weird. I understand the age, why women, when they write these young characters, why they're 18, 19, it's more coming of age stories. And if you want to write these women for a long time and have like a lot of books, you start with them young, just like you would with the comic books and stuff like that. You start with them young as teenagers.
And that way they can grow
exactly.
with you.
They grow with you. And so that I take it that way now. So that's why I don't look at Celaena as my daughter anymore. I just look at it as a young woman experiencing womanhood.
I love that.
So that's how I look at it from now on. And I just really appreciated the way this was done for the first time. Obviously, I know there's probably going to be spice later on in other books. We know that that's going to come up. But for the first time, I'm glad it was done this way. And then later on, we can have fun with the spiciness.
I like it.
Now let's talk about their keeping their relationship secret from Dorian and the impact that could have on their friendship. Because right now, Dorian already feels like the outcast.
And Dorian already knows.
Well, yeah, he knows about their feelings. So why keep it secret? So a lot of people could come back at us and say, well, they said they need to keep it a secret, and that's why they're not going to tell Dorian. But Dorian already knows how they feel, and those three have a very close bond because they've been together since Endovier. So if anybody could understand, because he's even told them, I'm over her. And
he hasn't told them. He told Nehemia, but that's it. They don't know. So, and then he keeps appearing at Celaena's place, and so maybe she thinks that he's just clinging on when in all actuality, he's now not. I don't know. I'm hoping that tension dies down. It's very uncomfortable. I don't like it.
I feel bad for Dorian. I just feel like they're pushing him away, and I feel he feels alone. And
I do too.
Especially with the powers.
Well, I wish he would reach out to Nehemia.
Well, I think he will. He did say he's going to. After he was in looking at the library, he said, okay, let me go talk to Nehemia. When the powers manifested the other time, he was looking for Nehemia. He just couldn't find her.
But then he was glad he didn't find her because, she'll be able to use that against me. Dude, I don't think you can do this by yourself.
No, he can't.
And you don't have anyone else, it seems.
It's hard when the two people you were relying upon are pushing you away and focusing on their own relationship.
Yeah.
This is a tough one.
I mean, he needs a friend.
He does need a friend. Hopefully he'll get one. So are you ready to turn the page to see if he gets one?
I am. Let's do that.
We are moving on to chapter 24.
Echoes of the past, warnings for the future.
Dorian was out by the carnival on a mission. He was looking for Baba Yellowlegs. Found her. She was going to town on her lunch. Grease everywhere, chicken bones flying like confetti, and apparently the concept of a napkin was beneath her. Ew. Of course, she extorted him for a buttload of money. Honestly, respect. Dorian tossed her 4 gold coins and she hit him with an all-time line.
I bet you wipe your ass with gold.
And honestly, that's a very fair assessment. With the deal sealed, Dorian finally got to ask his questions, while also doing everything in his power not to gag from the unholy stench rolling off of her. Before he even opened his mouth, he noticed something else. Everyone kept their distance from her. She wasn't just claiming to be a witch. Maybe she was a witch. The last-born witch of the Witch Kingdom, apparently. Which meant she was over 500 years old. Hey, babe, didn't you just celebrate your 500th birthday?
Oh, look at you. You're looking to not even make it to your 42nd, aren't you?
Uh-oh.
Whew. All right, well, Dorian, ever the scholar, casually mentions that witches are blessed with long lifespans, unlike you, just like the Fae. And Baba, she doesn't miss a beat.
Fae or Valg?
Wait, what? What the fuck is a Valg?
Listen, hun, if you would just wait 2 seconds, I was about to tell you.
Oh, sorry.
It turns out the Valg are demons who straight up stole Fae to breed with them, because of course they did, gross. The Croaken witches, they take after the Fae. The Iron Teeth witches, as in what Baba is in her charming coven, they take after the Valg. You know, the ones who invaded Aurelia at the dawn of time. Baba seems genuinely shocked that Dorian knows this much history. And Dorian, still salty from that wipe your ass with gold comment, claps right back.
When we're not wiping our asses with gold, we need to find some way to amuse ourselves. Why not learn a little history?
Mic drop.
Dorian doesn't waste time. Is magic really gone? Baba Yellowlegs barely spares him a glance before confirming.
Your kind of magic is.
Great, super reassuring. But then she adds, almost amused,
There are other forgotten powers.
Powers Dorian apparently has no business messing with, which frankly makes him want to ask so many more questions.
Yeah, me too. Us too, honestly.
I guarantee his tinfoil hat's just as big as ours.
If not bigger.
But he stays on track. Can one person still have magic? Baba lets out a sharp, cackling laugh.
Hail to the nah.
Magic was wiped out completely. Even the Fae lost their powers. Some were trapped in their animal forms when magic disappeared, and they're still stuck like that.
Oh.
And according to Baba, they taste like the animals they're trapped as. Dorian immediately regrets this conversation because, ew, David.
Ew, David. So Dorian, ever the tactician, goes the hypothetical route. Baba doesn't know what happened to magic. She shrugs. That's not her problem. But she's heard whispers that it might still exist on other continents, which raises the real question. Why did magic only disappear from Aurelia? And again, hypothetically speaking, if someone did have magic and wanted to learn, maybe even figure out why it vanished, how would they go about doing that? Baba tilts her head, clearly amused. Ooh, this is a strange question for a lordling. Dorian, not missing a beat, throws it right back at her.
Strange place for a witch.
And then she drops a little something extra. The gods cursed the witches centuries ago, but cursed the land 10 years ago. You know, right around the time the king started his Nazi takeover.
And wouldn't you know it, all of a sudden the weather shifts, the air thickens, the sky darkens, and when Dorian looks at Baba Yellowlegs, there's something wrong in her eyes. Something dark. And for the first time, he wonders if whatever is inside him would save him from her. Yeah, time to go. But just as he turns to leave, Roland catches up. His cousin asks what he was talking about with the witch. Dorian lies effortlessly, brushing it off like it was nothing. Still, he can't shake the feeling. Is Roland spying on me? Most likely Dorian. But for now, Dorian plays the game, trying to gain Roland's favor so he'll vote with him in the council. And so far, so good. But as he walks away, he glances back at Baba and swears she's grinning at him. A grin that was straight up Pennywise level unsettling.
That is no bueno. You're not supposed to look back. You know that.
Never look back.
Well, we cut to Celaena, and she is following the names from Archer's list. And look at this. Lo and behold, they're all leaving. One by one, they are boarding a ship out of Rifthold. And then a voice she knows, Archer. Somehow, the bastard snuck up behind her. Assassin training paying off, it looks like. Another reason not to trust him.
Boom, told you.
He apologizes, claims he warned them, and he's helping them to escape. Celaena, she is not impressed. She reminds him of their deal, and just to drive the point home, casually throws out the option of faking his death right fucking now. Archer scrambles, swearing he can still get more intel, promising this won't happen again. She is not convinced.
This time, she really isn't joking. Straight up threatens to kill the son of a bitch. Archer has gone to his group's leader, and they had already made arrangements. Celaena made it crystal clear she wanted new names by tomorrow, or his head would be the king's next favorite decoration. As she made her way back to the castle, something unexpected settled in her chest. Hope. Sure, the claim of having contact with Aelin was total bullshit, but raising an army, if Nehemia was right, and there were forces willing to rise up, they might actually stand a chance. For the first time, the king's iron grip on the world didn't feel so unbreakable, and just like that, this was starting to feel less like a suicide mission and more like a rebellion on the making. Maybe this was her Rogue One moment.
Well, we shift over to Mr. Chaol. It's 4 days. It's been 4 days since his birthday, and the little hound dog has spent every single night with Celaena.
Hell yeah.
And now he's in a meeting with his guards, pretending to pay attention.
Hell no, that son of a bitch is not paying attention.
No, because all he can think about is getting back to Celaena. Every word spoken in the meeting, white noise. The only thing he actually registers is that something about extra guards at the carnival. Honestly, at this point, I'm shocked Chaol even knows that a carnival is happening at all. Jesus.
Right? And speak of the devil and she shall appear. Celaena shows up to deliver a message. The king supposedly wants to see Chaol. Normally that would send his brain straight into the worst case scenarios, but one look at the mischief in her eyes tells him this isn't that kind of summons. It's a different kind of summons. Bow chicka wow wow. She carefully informs him that Philippa has gone for the day.
Mommy and daddy out all day, huh?
Hell yeah. But unfortunately, He has meetings all day. Oh, son of a bitch. And the next one's in 20 minutes. Well, when that happens, there's only one option. What is that, babe?
Find the nearest broom closet. Oh, so classy. And then, we have to have girl talk about it, with a side of world-altering stakes, of course. Celaena is gushing about Chaol, and Nehemia is amused, but not shocked. Wouldn't have guessed that the captain of the guard had a passionate side, though. But she's happy for Celaena. But then there's the shift. Celaena feels it before Nehemia even speaks. The king has given an order. Nehemia is to tell the rebels to stand down, or he'll butcher them all.
What?
Borrington is headed to Morath, possibly bringing forces with him to deal with any quote-unquote problems that arise. But Nehemia is not leaving. There's work to be done in Rifthold, and especially in this castle.
It's no wonder Nehemia hasn't looked into the eye of Elena. She has far bigger problems. Celaena suddenly feels a twinge of guilt. She's been caught up in riddles and Chaol, while Nehemia has been worrying about the thousands of lives. Then Nehemia asks the impossible. Promise to help free Elwë, to bring her people home from Endovir and Calicula. Celaena's chest tightens. She shakes her head. I'm just an assassin.
Nehemia pushes back hard, but Celaena won't budge. They don't even know the full extent of the king's power, and she refuses to throw herself into a doomed rebellion. Nehemia's patience snaps. Then what does Celaena stand for? Herself? The king butchered 500 Elwëans. He erased Terrasen. And yet Celaena, with all her training, her survival, her connection to Elena herself, still refuses to act.
Then Nehemia warns her. Soldiers aren't the real threat. Things with wings and shadows are coming. Every scout sent into the Farian Gap or White Fang Mountains, gone. No bodies, no answers. They're just gone. Nehemia grabs Celaena's wrist, her grip tight. She knows Celaena can feel it too. The king's power, twisted, unnatural, spreading. Celaena shakes her off. She's just tired. They can talk later. But Nehemia's voice cuts through the space between them, sharp, certain.
Later might be too late.
Celaena holds her ground. She won't fight a war she knows they can't win. Hope is dangerous, and Celaena stopped believing in it a long time ago.
Nehemia's eyes darken. All Celaena cares about is herself. And Celaena, she doesn't deny it. Nehemia thought refusing the king's orders meant something, that Celaena had principles, that she was taking a stand. But then she says it. Coward. Celaena's eyes flash. Dares her to say it again. Nehemia doesn't even blink. Coward.
Woo, that's rough. That word cuts deep.
Hey, call a spade a spade.
And we will talk about that later because I want to know how you feel about that. But let's start with Dorian. So we are going to apologize at the beginning. This is going to be a long one. There's a lot in this chapter between Dorian, Nehemia, Celaena, emotions, and just so much more lore about the world. So we're going to try to break it down as best and as fast as we can so everyone can understand it. You ready, babe?
Yes, let's do this.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so Dorian goes to the carnival to talk to Baba Yellowlegs, and we get lots of talk about powers. We learn so much information. Let's start with the Volg. They are a demon race, and they've been around since the beginning of Aurelia. But where are they now? Are they in the portal? Was that who she saw?
It's very possible. So that's my guess. I don't know if that's your guess.
That's my guess as well. And we find out that there are two types of witches. The Kroken witches, they are born from Fey lineage. And then the Iron Teeth, which are the Volg and Fey lineage because they stole the Fey to breed with them, right?
That's what it sounds like in the book.
And Baba Yellowlegs is one of the Iron Teeth.
So she is partially Valg?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. So she would be
if
both?
she even is a witch. We're still debating that.
I think she is.
Oh, you know, you and I both know she is. It's just they're debating if she's a real witch.
I think Celaena and Dorian are both pretty clear on it now. Just Chaol is kind of on the fence, maybe.
I think Roland is too.
Oh, yeah, well, whatever about Roland.
She said, your kind of magic is gone. What kind of magic is his? What does that even mean?
Is that because they could gift it to people? So maybe his was the kind that was gifted? Or the different kinds of magic?
Like, is his magic the one that has been erased, supposedly, and he's like the last one with it? Or is his the other kind of magic that she's talking about?
Yeah. Oh.
But
yeah, I wonder what, like, your kind of magic meant. Like, what is his kind specifically?
And then he was able to get rid of all magic from the Fae and even trap them in their animal form. So the Fae were able to shape-shift into animal forms at some point.
Maybe not all of them, but some got trapped in their animal forms. I wonder if it was kind of like a wave. And if you were in your animal form when all power was lost, Like that's how you stayed or something like that.
Yeah, and I wonder if since they've been in their animal form for a long time, if they forget what it was like to be Fae and they turn more into the animal. Because she says they taste like the animal. That's so gross. She was eating them.
Yeah.
Now, real quick, we're going to tinfoil hat it for Akatar.
Yeah.
This is out there. So the only ones that we knew from Akatar that could shape shift, we knew Tamlin could shape shift into lots of different animals, but the other lords could shapeshift into one.
Did you throw spoilers in here about Akatar?
My bad. Spoilers for Akatar. If you need to stop listening here, this will only take about 2 minutes. Real quick. I'm just putting this out there for anyone who has read Akatar. However, the High Lords could all change into like one animal form where Tamlin can change into multiple, right?
Yes.
So I'm just wondering again if the same type of Fae came through the word gates thousands of years later and all the Fae could now change into animal form. This is just a theory.
It's a very, very fun theory out there in the Pacific.
Just a fun, see if it connects to Akatar kind of thing.
So then my question is, based on that, are the eyes that she saw behind that iron door, is that someone trapped in their animal form?
That is a good question.
That's going to be one of my tinfoil hat theories. Someone trapped in animal form.
What if it's Brannon trapped in animal form?
Ooh.
And that because a big steel iron door, you're got to keep somebody very powerful out.
I swear to God, what color eyes do deer have?
I don't think they have yellow and green.
If it's a stag, I'm going to be mad.
I doubt it's a yellow and green stag.
That sounds more like
sounds
a
very
cat.
serpenty.
Oh.
Like when they mentioned, because remember they said the skin was also yellow and green?
There was dreams of that.
The dream, yeah.
So there's dreams of one thing and eyes of something else.
We're assuming, what if this creature behind the door is trying to communicate with Celaena? And that's what that flash was.
Oh, maybe.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a good tinfoil hat. I like that.
There you go.
I had not thought of that. But Baba is not the last born. Did we get that? Did you catch that? Like she's 500 years old or maybe older. And I feel like the way that they said it, let's see, perhaps her last-born witch title was a lie, a fabrication to conceal a history so violent that he couldn't imagine the horrors she had committed during those witch wars. What if she's like an OG?
Oh, she probably is.
That'd be crazy.
She's not going to give them all the truth right away about what she is and who she is.
What if she's not the last-born witch? What if she's like the first-born? She would be so freaking powerful. Maybe that's what's in the wagon that's so scary that Celaena doesn't want to interact with, like just the amount of power.
Yeah, there's something in that wagon. All right, well, the last thing is when Dorian asks how can he find out about magic, she says first you need to look and figure out why magic left in the first place.
Left. And she said left, right?
That was the word, left. Why it left, not why it disappeared.
Or why it was banished.
Why it left.
Why it left. Like it did it of its own volition.
Which might go into the next thing where the gods cursed the land 10 years ago, which is when magic left.
Oh.
And they also cursed the witches centuries ago. And we were wondering which gods, we're not going to go deep into this. We were wondering if it's the 9 gods that were mentioned at the ceremonies, the Yule Mist and all that.
Yeah.
Does this say that the gods in this world actually integrate with the humans, like with the people of the world?
Like interact with them?
Yeah, because obviously in a lot of books with the gods, they never interact. They just say, I pray to this god, I pray to this god. Not a big deal. Like there's a god of war, there's a god of this, but they never do anything. It's like, the Greek gods basically.
Yeah.
But I wonder if what she means by curse, if gods are actually doing the cursing or if that's just a saying. Because that's usually a saying, the gods cursed this land 10 years ago, even though it was something else, not the gods themselves.
I'm wondering if it was the gods cursing the land by just taking magic and like leaving with it.
I mean, then we're saying that this is literally and not figuratively, because it could be figuratively again.
Yeah, it could be figuratively.
Because that's always like a main trope saying the gods curse this land.
Yeah, but with magic, it could be literally they cursed it.
Yeah.
So they could have had all of this earth magic, and that's why in her dream, everything behind her is all barren and wasteland, and what's in front of her where the stag is all nice and lush and foresty and all of that.
Well, that's what makes fantasy books so much fun, because it could be either or.
Oh, man.
Because gods do interact in some fantasy worlds and sometimes they don't. They're just figurative, just like in our world.
I guess we'll find out which way this goes.
So once we're done with Baba Yellowlegs, Roland shows up.
How convenient.
Dorian thinks that Roland is playing him just like he's playing Roland. So again, going back to the whole Departed thing, they're playing each other.
Yep. We called that one for sure.
Yeah, that's not a surprise. Roland's a piece of shit.
He's just being sneaky. I wonder how much he heard or if he heard anything, how close he was to any of that. So that's interesting.
I think he's trying to play Dorian.
Oh, for sure he is.
We're going to move on to Celaena was watching the names on Archer's list.
Watching all of them get on a boat to leave. Archer being super fucking sneaky. You called that one 100%.
I did call him being sneaky, but he mentioned this came from the top. So this came from above him. So someone above him gave this order.
Oh, so he's telling someone else that he gave those names to her also.
Yes.
Mm.
So that's what I'm saying. Wolf playing both sides.
Yes.
Now, this isn't dastardly yet
Mm-mm.
because he's not like telling the king. He's just telling whoever's in charge of this rebellion, this rebellion group.
And he's doing the right thing. He's trying to save people. So, I mean, I can't be mad at him, but this doesn't look good for Celaena. But she hasn't told the king about these names, has she?
No, she's going to keep that close to her chest because she wants to know how deep this rebellion goes.
So it's just the fact that he told them, hey, you're in danger, and now she can't get any new info. Duh.
Exactly.
Sorry, it took me a second there.
No, you're good.
Well, do you think he's actually going to comply? Or do you think this goes deeper? Do you think he's going to keep answering to whoever's up top? I think he's going to.
He's going to keep complying with Celaena because he wants to keep his head. She did threaten his ass.
Yeah.
I'm still worried about how much information he's going to keep giving her. I said he was going to do that from the beginning, that he was going to hold back information, which he did. So I wonder if he's going to finally give full information or if he's going to find a way to hold back because he's answering to somebody above him. So it's probably going to be whatever the person above him allows to trickle down to her.
Yeah. Okay. That totally makes sense. Oh.
And then Mr. Chaol can't concentrate again.
Of course not. He's got so much on his brain now. He's got Celaena on the brain. These guys, they're talking. What's happening? Who knows? It's just white noise. Oh, here she comes.
Yeah, and Celaena comes in with a lie about the king wanting to see him so she can get some kale smoothie to herself.
In the broom closet. Guys, I mean, I guess
he only had 20 minutes.
You got to do what you got to do.
Exactly.
And I guess, yeah, no, I don't. I blame no one.
Hey, you remember the new couple smell when you're just doing it everywhere?
Has that worn off yet?
No, it has not worn off at all. We're going to keep that going forever.
I know, right? All right. Well, speaking of girl talk, she's having girl talk with Nehemia. But Nehemia has much bigger concerns, and Celaena's selfishness is really showing, and it's really pissing Nehemia off.
I'm worried about Celaena and Nehemia's relationship.
That
seems broken right now.
It seems very broken. She's calling her a coward and is not afraid to call her a coward to her face, even.
Yeah, but you said something about that. You said calling a spade, and you also said Celaena's selfishness. So do you think she's being selfish, or do you think that she has the right to have her freedom? What would you do if you were put in her situation? Hey, you are probably the chosen one who can save everybody. However, you've never had your freedom, and you've had a traumatic past and traumatic everything.
But I've always wanted to be the chosen one.
Well, that's okay.
I want to be the chosen one.
All right, put yourself in her shoes.
That's difficult because I feel like shown on several occasions that she cares about other people. Man, I am torn because she has shown a whole bunch of times I care about other people, and now she cares about herself. That's not wrong. I'm not mad at her for it, but to know that no one else is being contacted, that no one else is being given this opportunity to stop this great evil, that has to weigh on you too. You're it. As everything falls to shit, this is on you. You have to know that. So
in her line of work, even just as an assassin, before we even get to savior of the world, it's already tough enough to have relationships, friends, someone you love without worrying about them being killed, just like Sam was. So that's another very traumatic incident that she had to go through. So she probably doesn't want to see anyone else get killed on her account. And she probably knows that going to war with the king, no matter who she has behind her, people are going to die. You die in war no matter what. Somebody's going to die in war. And she doesn't want that guilt, I think.
I wonder if she was not friends with all of these people, if she was not in love with Chaol, if she would have readily accepted the mission.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Why?
Because I think the relationships with Dorian, Chaol, and Nehemia in the first book really turned her into that person. Okay, we've never read Assassin's Blade, so other than Sam, we don't know what kind of relationships she has had. She might have had a harsh upbringing other than Sam growing up. So with that said, without Chaol and Dorian and Nehemia showing her friendship and love, I think she would just been her normal assassin, me self and would have just said, screw that.
Okay.
And that's why I think this talk with Nehemia is very important, because I think she's going to feel the guilt of that, the weight of that. It's going to play with her mind, especially if more stuff starts happening under the king.
Right. You should feel responsible. You have a chance to stop this, and you're actively choosing not to.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we've exhausted this chapter.
This hat is heavy. This tinfoil hat.
Yes, I'm ready to take it off. Are
Me
you
too.
ready to turn the page?
I'm ready. Let's turn this page.
Can I get a high five for chapter 25?
Big theories come in small chapters.
And on to chapter 26. Just kidding. But seriously, that's what it felt like. Look at this. It's so little. When we were reading, I swore I did a scoop. When you accidentally grab too many pages on the turn, I thought I scooped at least 3. Nope. This chapter is half a damn page. And somehow, in those few lines, there are so many tinfoil hat theories brewing in my brain that I might actually explode.
Me too. All right, let's start at the beginning, though, like we always do. No summary this time, because honestly, there's barely anything to summarize. This chapter is that tiny. But the few lines that we do get have huge implications. First off, the chapter only refers to 2 figures, no names, the queen and the princess. So we're assuming that that's Celaena and Nehemia.
Yes.
And what are they talking about? Well, one of them has to break, and the prince isn't ready. Okay, so prince?
Probably Dorian.
Okay, and the other?
Most likely Celaena.
Okay, for it to begin. What the hell is it? A rebellion? A magic awakening?
What do you think?
I'm going to say for the other to begin. I'm going to say the magic awakening to begin.
For it to begin. I'm going to say the rebellion.
Ooh, okay.
They need someone to pop off to get the rebellion started.
Okay, so that's interesting. I went with magic and you went with rebellion this time.
All right, Team Magic and Team Rebellion. Usually I'm Team Magic.
I know, that's confusing.
Usually
Okay.
Okay. All right, I like it. It. Elena's words echo.
Do you understand what I am asking of you? Then do what has to be done.
Okay, what the hell does that mean? So does Celaena want Nehemia to do something to Celaena to get her magic going? Because that sounds ominous as fuck. Because Dorian's magic seems to be tied to his emotions, and we've seen similar phrasing when Celaena gets fired up. Ice in her veins, word mark glowing on her forehead. So does that mean her magic is just waiting to be triggered? And if so, what exactly is it going to take to set her off?
Like, is it going to be some kind of emotional thing or some kind of emotional damage?
Emotion. I like it.
And then Nehemia warns her, if they do this to Celaena, there's no coming back. She won't understand, which means whatever they're about to do is to force her powers to awaken, and it's going to be devastating.
That's what it sounds like.
Let's be honest. Okay, this probably has something to do with Chaol, right? And then there's this line, she finds her way back. She always does, which sounds like a direct reference to Celaena's reluctance to take up the whole savior mantle every time. And then she keeps saying, it's not my fight. It's not my problem. But in the end, she always comes back because deep down, she knows it is the right thing to do.
Correct. Now, if we are correct in any of this, Nehemia is going to try to get Celaena fired up because the prince isn't ready, possibly Dorian. What do you think she's going to do to get her fired up? You said probably something to do with Chaol?
Yes, I think something to do with Chaol. Because if it is Nehemia, it's obviously shouldn't be something to do with herself, I wouldn't imagine. So it's probably going to be something to do with Chaol because she knows about the closeness that Celaena has with Chaol. So he would be the perfect patsy for her to do something to awaken Celaena, or this magical awakening, or this rebellion even, whichever one it is.
Well, it sounds like whatever they're going to do, they're worried that she might not come back from it because whatever power they're going to awaken, it could be devastating to her. Whatever they're going to do is going to have real big implications.
So you think the powers are going to be devastating, or you think what they have to do to awaken it?
What they have to do to awaken it is going to be devastating, and it's going to have huge implications on something.
This better not be another Sam moment.
Oh, are you tired of crying? I'm tired of crying in
I'm
this
tired
damn
of
book.
crying, yes. Well, I really appreciated the shortness of this chapter after that last chapter with all of our tinfoil hats. That got heavy.
Oh my God, I was exhausted.
Yeah.
Okay, so you ready to turn the page? We're almost there.
I am. We're almost there. Let's do this.
You have made it this far, ladies and gentlemen. We're almost there. Chapter 26.
Hunting for answers, finding trouble instead. Chaol was out hunting with the king, Borrington, Roland, and Dorian.
Ew, worst party ever.
And by hunting, we mean babysitting a bunch of pompous lords who couldn't shoot a deer if it walked up and introduced itself. Chaol hated these outings. Every time he'd end up faking kills just to protect their fragile male egos.
Ouch.
While half listening to their gossip, he caught himself wondering, is this the life that he was supposed to have? Then his thoughts drift to Terran, his brother. Was his father turning him into one of these idiots? Or had he sent him to warrior training like all of the other NEL lords? Either way, Chaol couldn't shake the feeling that his father was shaping Terran into something he never wanted to be.
Then Chaol's thoughts drifted to his mother, a gentlewoman, kind, strong, and somehow, in ways he couldn't quite explain, he saw pieces of her in Celaena, which led to the real question, how the fuck did someone like his mother marry someone like his father? The king must have noticed his distraction because his gaze sharpened, and for the first time, Chaol really looked at him. The king was bigger than usual, stronger, bulkier, like someone had been hitting the gym, or something darker.
Oh, darker for sure.
Juicing up like Cain, maybe?
Yes.
Of course, except this wasn't some shady backroom steroid deal. This was more like a Bane-breaking Batman over his knee transformation. Then, as if it were nothing, the king dropped the bomb. Nehemia would be questioned in his council chamber the next night.
What? All right, the king wants 6 men, no interruptions, which also means no Celaena. And that's all he's willing to say. No explanation, no details, just an order. And just like that, he rides off, leaving Chaol with a sinking feeling in his gut. But before he can dwell on it, Dorian pulls up beside him.
What did my father want?
Chaol barely hesitates.
Nothing.
Dorian doesn't push. He just gives him a long look, like he already knows something is off, and says,
Treat Celaena well.
And with that, he rides ahead to catch up with Roland.
Chaol didn't tell Celaena about his conversation with the king because in his mind, there was no reason to. The king wouldn't actually harm Nehemia, right? Even if he did tell Celaena, even if Nehemia knew, it wouldn't change anything. Besides, this could be another test. If word got out, there was only one person who could have warned the princess and the assassin, and that person was Chaol.
Chaol needed to protect Celaena, just long enough until he could leave Rifthold with her. Then he thought about his dad being pissed that he married an assassin. Then the age gap thing kind of freaked him out a little bit. She is only 18. She's a little too young for marriage. He was still daydreaming when he was kidnapped.
God damn it, Chaol. Think with your brain, not your junk, and now you're all snatched up.
Good job, Chaol. Way to have situational awareness, bro.
So the king is 1000% testing Chaol again.
For sure. And what is this questioning in his council chambers? Is it really going to happen?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Or is this still just a test to see if he'll say something to her? Because I'm sure that she would make herself scarce all of a sudden the next night if she found out about it, right?
Agreed. And he's also giving Chaol very minor details, as little as possible, just in case, I think. So this has to be a test.
It's got to be a test.
Oh, I wonder what the king's going to think if Chaol's gone for a long time now that he's kidnapped and doesn't show up.
Ooh.
Uh-oh. Because he's supposed to be there tomorrow night, right? He said the next night?
Yeah, the next night.
Uh-oh.
But I mean, the captain of the Royal Guard, you probably see him on a daily basis if you're the king, right?
That's true. That is very true.
All right. Well, it's really not going to matter because he got kidnapped anyways.
Yeah, he got snatched up because he was thinking some rando shit.
Well, he's thinking he's got to protect Celaena again.
Hey, that newness got to him. Now he's all snatched up. Got himself snatched up, just thinking away, not doing his duty. Mr. Chaol Chip not doing his duty. Ooh, I wonder if that's going to be like a breaking point. He's like, because of our relationship, my brain isn't on the duty because this has been happening since they've been together, since they've been doing things.
Yeah,
Remember, at
that's
all
true.
the meetings, that's all he can think about. And it's starting to get noticed by everybody.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Well, let's see what happens in the last chapter. Are you ready to turn the page?
I am. Let's go.
And here we go. Last but not least, chapter 27.
They took the captain. Now they get the assassin.
Celaena wakes up, no Chaol. Silver lining, no morning run.
That's what I'm talking about.
Maybe he's off doing captain of the guard shit. And then she starts daydreaming about him. That's dangerous territory. The last person who got lost in a daydream, they got snatched.
Perfect.
She heads back to her room for breakfast. No Chaol. She finds a list of names from Archer, written in code this time. She reads the list like it's the morning newspaper as she eats her breakfast. Then it hits her. Nehemia missed their word mark lesson. Not shocking considering their last conversation. If Nehemia still wants to start a rebellion, Celaena's out. With that iron door, she's definitely getting in, because if there's one thing Celaena Sardothian doesn't do, it's leave a mystery unsolved. Cue the Sherlock Holmes theme.
She spent the day watching the people on Archer's list, gathering intel, and the whole time she was excited to tell Chaol about it when she got back. But still, no Chaol. Probably still busy doing Captain of the Guard shit. Evening rolled around, still no Chaol. And that's when the unease started creeping in. What if, and her mind flashes to Sam, to what happened to him. And if something happened to Chaol, she ran. She ran as fast as her legs could carry her. She reached his rooms, burst inside, empty. And then she saw it. On his sword, a note.
We have the captain. When you're tired of stalking us, come find us. Bring no one, or the captain will die before you set foot into the building. If you fail to arrive by tomorrow morning, we'll leave what's left of him on the banks of the Avery.
There's an address, it's a warehouse, and just like that, an icy, endless rage settles over her. Arabin once called it the killing calm. They wanted Otterland's assassin. They were about to get her.
Chaol was beyond baffled as to why the hell he was chained up. Every time he even thought about resisting, they knocked him out. Like a hard reset on his brain, they weren't bluffing. But who the hell were they? Hoods, masked face, and despite his current predicament, Chaol couldn't help being a pain in the ass about it. Honestly, Celaena would be so proud. But they hadn't killed him, which means they're waiting for something or someone. Maybe this wasn't about him at all. Maybe these were the rebels trying to blackmail the king. Or given his current luck, maybe this was about to turn into a jigsaw popping up saying, "Would you like to play a game?"
I'm not sure which would be worse, but it would be really stupid to try and blackmail the king.
True.
So instead of wasting his energy, Chaol pretends to be asleep, listening in. And that's when he catches it. They are talking about a quote-unquote she. And there is only one person that could mean. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we get the ultimate trope moment. Chaol bares his teeth and growls.
You hurt her, and I'll rip you apart with my bare hands.
Okay, honestly, all we needed was some dramatic rain and a close-up on his tortured expression to really sell the moment. But credit where it's due, he was smart. He got them talking. And just by listening, he's starting to piece things together. He could tell that the leader is a warrior. It's in his stance, in the way he speaks about the royals. And when Chaol realizes who they are, yeah, he's going to kill Archer for getting Celaena tangled up in this.
Chaol glares at them. They have no idea who they're fucking with. One of them, clearly the biggest dipshit of the bunch, actually laughs. She's just one girl. Chaol smirks. Then you're really in for a surprise. And so are we.
Next week. Oh my gosh. No.
All right, well, let's wrap this up so we can get on to next week. As we always do, we start at the beginning. So Celaena
wakes up to a cold bed. But you got to expect that kind of thing. She's bedding the captain of the guard. But I don't know if you noticed that she had a change of clothes in his room and she took a shower before heading back to her room for breakfast. So does she have her own drawer?
They're already talking about moving in together. He says he's going to move far, far away from her. That was before they even started bumping uglies.
I don't know. I guess I didn't think she'd be that comfortable.
Maybe. But then, things started getting a little weird. He wasn't showing up at all until later the night. Then she got worried because of, memories of Sam. Hey, she was glad she didn't have to get up to run, but now she was running over to Chaol's room, and instead she found a note.
On his sword. Which
yes.
He never leaves. That's on him at all times. So, what?
Yeah, But the very end, the killing calm. So she is like full on focus mode right now.
That sounds absolutely spectacular. I absolutely cannot wait for us to finish recording today so we can go see what happens.
Before we get to that possible catalyst, let's go back to Chaol real quick. One more thing.
Yeah.
So Chaol, again, being very impressive as the captain of the guard, he's able to, get them talking, his captors, kind of try to figure out who they are. Very smart.
Very smart. Getting lots of information, being able to piece things together just by the words that they're using or how they are responding. Even how he even mentioned how they kidnapped him was not something that a certain type of person would do. So he's taking it all in, putting in all the pieces together. So good job, Chaol.
And that's why I think it's important that is noted, because with everything with him and Celaena's relationship, Chaol's been off and people are noticing. But Chaol, what this is showing, is very sharp, very smart. There's a reason why he's the captain of the guard. Dude knows what he's doing.
We don't know who sent these people.
Good question. Who do you think it was?
I don't know, but Nehemia also wasn't at the word mark lesson this morning. So do you think that's because of their fight or something else?
I think it could be both. One, because of their fight, yes, but that also could be an excuse because 2 chapters before, the very short chapter, Celaena, Nehemia talking about something devastating that needs to happen, a catalyst that needs her to snap. So this might be it.
Yeah, maybe it's not Chaol's kidnapping. Maybe it's something to do with Nehemia.
This is my tinfoil hat theory with Nehemia.
Okay.
I think that she is behind the rebel group, the people that are trying to create an army in Terrasen. And I think she knows Celaena's Aelin and trying to get her to remember somehow, which is why she has unfinished business in the castle. She has to get Celaena to remember.
Oh, so you think that that's Nehemia's mission?
Yes. So Nehemia's behind this group. So Archer's working for Nehemia.
So you think Archer knows about this kidnapping too?
Yes.
Oh,
She's not going to be happy because she said this is going to be devastating. This is going to be life-changing, this catalyst. So if Nehemia is behind this, it's going to be very hard for Celaena to trust her ever again.
yeah, that's a hard break in trust. Oh man, so many different things that could be the catalyst that we're looking forward to finally start the rebellion or to do the magical awakening, whichever one it is. I mean, it could be either of them.
Exactly. And I would like to thank our listeners for really pushing through on this episode. If you're not a first-time SJM reader, you know that in the middle of the book is when she drops all the knowledge. So this was going to be a long episode. We warned you. You could always play it on double speed if you're able to listen that way. But thank you so much for sticking with us. And we're not done. Are you ready to play He Said, She Said?
I am. Let's go.
All right, folks, it's time for He Said, She Said, the game where we test each other's knowledge of this week's chapters by guessing who said what.
Or more accurately, it's the game where I win because Scott either overthinks it or totally blanks out.
Excuse me? I'm just giving you the illusion of superiority. It's called strategery.
Is that what we're calling it? Anyway, we've each picked 3 quotes, and the other person has to guess who said them. 30 seconds, no hints, no lifelines, maybe some multiple choice if he begs.
And apparently no mercy either. Let's get to it before Genevieve starts drafting her victory speech. All right, welcome back, everybody, to our 3rd session of He Said, She Said for Crown of Midnight. Dun, 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 dun. Are you ready?
I am, and I think I've actually got this down this time. I think I understand it.
You figured out how easy, medium, and hard works, right?
Listen, if you can't figure out the easy one, I have literally nothing for you.
All right, I'm ready. Here we go.
All right, I'm just an assassin.
Really?
Yeah, come on.
Come on now.
Come on, bro. Who'd she say it to? Or he? Who said it to who? Yeah. No, you have to say who they said it to.
Wait, what was the quote?
I'm just an assassin.
I'm just kidding. Okay, so Celaena
Yes.
to Nehemia.
You did it. I did an easy one. I did a good job.
So here's my easy one. Could one person somehow have magic?
Could one person somehow have magic?
Yes.
Well, Dorian's the one who somehow has magic right now, so it's clearly him.
Okay.
And he went to go talk to anyone about it, and the only person he's had to talk to has been Baba Yellowlegs.
Baba!
So Dorian to Baba Yellowlegs.
Good job. All right. Ding, ding, ding.
All right.
We need sound effects.
We do need sound effects. All right, you ready for the medium?
Give me the medium.
Treat her well. Did I go all easy on this?
Watch me get this one wrong. But I already know it. Okay. Our babe.
Listen, I've been winning a lot, okay?
Well, you don't have to throw me layups. This is a layup. Wait, what was the quote again?
Oh, you don't even know what the layup was now, huh?
What?
What is it?
It was Dorian to Chaol.
Treat her well.
Treat her
was
well.
the
I know.
quote, yeah.
I know.
Okay.
All right. You ready for my medium one?
Yeah.
You're distracted today, Captain.
Ooh.
It's obvious who it was to. There's only one daggum captain.
Yeah, it's obviously to Chaol. Yeah, but who would call him out on it? Well, it's not going to be Nehemia, so it could be Celaena. It could be Dorian. It could be the king, Roland. All right, what was the quote again?
You're distracted today, Captain. Ooh,
yeah.
I like the way your mind thinks. Who would talk to him like that? Very good.
Yeah, who's going to refer to him like that? It's not going to be Celaena, and it's not going to be Dorian. Roland's more friendly. No, it's the king. So it is the king.
I mean, Celaena could call him the captain in a playful manner.
Yeah, but that's not how you said it.
You're right. It's the king. Good job. Good job. Good job. All right.
Are you ready for my hard one?
Do you think that joke's played out? The hard one joke?
It's literally the difficult one.
That's what she said?
You don't have to say it every time.
As somebody who has watched The Office back in the day, you kind of have to. It's like written in
It's
a law.
ingrained.
I feel like it's a law. Hit me with your hard one. Yeah.
Why don't you save your maneuvering for someone who cares?
Save your maneuvering
Mm-hmm.
for someone who cares. Okay, now that one is a hard. That one, maneuvering. Is that a French word?
Maneuvering.
Maneuvering.
Maybe. Could be. Seems like it has French origins.
I'm totally gonna get this one wrong. I already know. Nehemia?
No.
To Celaena? No.
Why don't you save your maneuvering for someone who cares? Who have you felt has been maneuvering and playing both sides this whole time?
Archer. Oh, Celaena.
Roland.
Oh, both Archer
Dorian.
too.
Well, okay, I'm sorry. That's a hard one. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, it's a hard one.
I jumped from easy to really hard.
I told you I was gonna get it wrong. My brain is not functioning.
Okay. What's the hard, difficult one for you?
I'll give you my hard one.
Oh, God.
Am I supposed to believe you?
Oh.
There's a hard one for you.
Am I supposed to believe you?
Yes. Am I supposed to believe you? Yeah. I think we got you. I think we got you on that one. Bada bing, bada boom.
Am I supposed to believe you?
Yes.
I have no idea, but I'm going to say Nehemia to Celaena.
Way off. Dorian to Roland.
Oh, about the vote.
Yes.
All right.
I knew I'd finally get you. So we're both 2-1.
Yeah. All right.
So we have an extra one,
I
right?
do, yeah.
Go ahead.
That woman makes my blood run cold.
So I think they're talking about Baba.
Uh-huh.
So it's not Chaol because he thinks that she's fake anyway. So it's either Dorian, Celaena, or Roland because they're the only ones that have been out near her. And I know that Dorian and Celaena are freaked out. I'm going to say, oh God, I'm going to miss this one. Celaena to Chaol.
Nope.
It's Dorian to Roland, isn't it?
It is Roland to Dorian.
Roland to Dorian. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You were getting there, though. You had all the correct people.
It was
yeah.
right there. Okay, so this is it. If you get this one, you win.
Okay.
This is it. This is ridiculous. This is folly, is what this is.
This is ridiculous. This is folly. That is Chaol to Celaena.
Final answer.
How dare you? Yes.
And wrong. It is Celaena to Nehemia.
Oh, about the rebellion?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Yes, ma'am.
I thought for sure it was about her not doing what she was.
Do you want to keep it a draw or do you want to do what we normally do and rock, paper, scissors this one real quick? All right, we're going to keep it a draw. You ready to move on to the Assassin's Whisper?
I am. Let's.
Welcome, Seekers of Secrets, to Assassin's Whisper. I am Obsidian, sharp as a blade, clever as a riddle, and never where you expect me.
And I am Garnet, the shadow you sense but cannot see, and the voice that carries truths only the bold dare to hear.
Together, we are the Keepers of Whispers, guardians of the secrets of Aurelia, entrusted to pass them on to only the most cunning assassins.
This is your covert briefing, a recap of what has transpired in the world of Aurelia. Pay attention, assassin. The truth is a weapon, and we're here to make sure you wield it well.
Listen carefully, for every whisper could mean survival or demise.
Welcome back, my deadly darlings. The whispers are growing restless. Secrets are unraveling. Alliances are shifting. And one truth is becoming clearer. Rifthold is a city built on lies. Celaena may be busy entangling herself with Chaol, but the castle around her is still whispering. Hidden passageways, iron doors, and an ancient power buried beneath its stones. The Eye of Elena wasn't just given to her for protection. It wants something, and soon she'll have no choice but to listen.
But Celaena isn't the only one the past is calling to. Dorian is digging deeper into his family's history, into his own unwanted magic, and straight into the hands of Baba Yellowlegs. The answer he seeks are dangerous, but so is the king. And as Dorian tries to untangle the truth, the king is already tightening his grip.
And while Dorian searches, Nehemia fights, not just against the crown, but against Celaena herself. The princess is done waiting. Her people are dying, and Celaena refuses to act. It's a brutal, unfiltered fight, one that leaves more than just word hanging between them. Nehemia calls Celaena a coward, and this time, Celaena can't argue.
Meanwhile, the rebellion stirs. Archer drips his information in tiny, controlled doses, but Celaena knows he's playing his own game. The king is watching, waiting, testing Chaol's loyalty. The captain may think he still has control, but that illusion is about to be shattered, because Chaol never thought of himself as a pawn, but that's exactly what he is now, kidnapped, bound, waiting.
And Celaena, she's about to remind the world that there's a reason they call her Otterland's assassin. They wanted the real Celaena Sardathian. They're about to get her.
Until next time, walk the shadows and trust only the whispers.
Thanks for hanging out with us for this episode of Booked for Two.
If you had fun, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. It helps other book lovers find the show.
Want more Booked for Two? Follow us on socials at Booked for Two Podcast for behind-the-scenes content, updates, and sneak peeks. We also post the next week's chapters every Sunday, so you can read along.
And don't miss our live Q&A every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central on YouTube and TikTok, where we answer your burning questions, discuss the latest episode, and let's be real, probably start a heated debate about Hogwarts houses. For the record, Jen is Slytherin and I'm Hufflepuff, which explains a lot.
Oh, and if you love the show, check out bookedfor2.com for merch. Because let's be honest, every good book nerd needs a sticker or two. Until next time, keep turning the page.